o'clock. The record should reflect that all 12 jurors and 5 alternates have returned to the courtroom following an afternoon break. Defendants present with counsel as our counsel for the state of Ohio. Captain Lay has returned to the witness stand. Captain Lay, you're still under oath, and you may continue with your direct examination, Mr. Tennell.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, Captain, I'm going to show you what we've marked for purposes of identification of State's Exhibit 120. Do you recognize that document?
I do.
What is that?
These are evidence sheets that track the movement of property collected at the various scenes.
Okay. Now, we've had prior testimony that from Agent Staley. You familiar with Agent Staley?
I am.
Who said that the main packet outside of the first 2 APD pages, the first 3 rather, is his documentation of evidence collected at the scene of 363 Coburn Court.
Yes.
Does that appear to be what that is?
Yes.
Okay. So what are the first 2 pages of that exhibit then?
These would be APD's track of those items.
Okay. So I think Agent Staley testified that the procedure would be that he would collect all of it and turn it over to, I think in this case, detective Evans.
Yes.
And so that would then be documented, the movement of that evidence and all of those items within APD's custody and control, so you would use your forms for that purpose?
That's correct.
Okay. And at some point, does that exhibit document the movement of some of those items of evidence into your custody and control?
It does.
And I guess let's start where you first appear within there. What items came into your custody and control of land?
Well, on the first page here, there's item number 46. It looks like I picked it up at BCI.
Okay, and item 46 is listed, what, within the BCI form?
Yes.
What item is that?
Set of keys, Mitsubishi keys, is that right?
All right, I'll show you what we've purposely previously had marked as State's Exhibit 155. There's been prior testimony that these are a set of Mitsubishi keys.
Yes, sir.
Appear to be accurate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Now, what date did you take those into your...
Looks like September 16th.
All right. And you passed them off to whom?
I placed them in the Sallyport cage
Okay. And where'd you get them?
from BCI.
Okay. Is the 16th the day that a BCI agent was executing a search warrant upon the Mitsubishi vehicle itself?
Yes.
Okay. While we're on that topic, we've had prior testimony that Agent Larry Hoopman processed the Mitsubishi vehicle. Does that sound right to you?
It does?
And I'll show you, well, we show counsel what we marked as State's Exhibit 276. I'll show you State's Exhibit 276. Ask, what does that appear to be?
APD's track of items taken or collected by BCI from scene 3.
Okay. And what is scene 3?
It must have been at Ashland PD, the items taken directly off of the defendant. Is that right?
Let me draw your attention to the first page here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Taken from a 2003 Mitsubishi.
Okay, and I think Agent Hootman told us that that search that he conducted of that particular vehicle took place within, I guess, the Sally Port of the Asheville Police Department.
Correct.
That's your recollection?
Yes.
Okay, and that all occurred on September 16th, 2013?
Yes.
And the evidence that he collected there was transferred into your possession, is that correct?
Correct.
And the transfer of that evidence is documented within Exhibit 276, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and what did you do with everything that he gave you as a result of that?
Placed it in our evidence room.
Okay. So, counsel, it's Exhibit 388.
Thank you. Good.
All right, I'll show you State's Exhibit 388. Ask you if you can tell us what that is.
The description on the bag says contains 16 boxes of glass roses.
And where'd they come from?
The rear driver's side seat of a vehicle.
Okay, is that the roses that were collected by Agent Hootman in the vehicle on the 16th of September?
Yes, sir.
And then he gave those to you,
Yes, sir.
and then you put them in evidence?
Yes, sir.
If you would. And can you put boxes in?
Each box contains a number of these little roses inside the glass vials.
Show the defense counsel a sample. Thank you, Captain. The state's Exhibit 388 appear to be in substantially similar condition to as when it came into your custody on September 16th?
Yes, sir.
And the same question with respect to 155, the Mitsubishi keys. Do the keys look to be substantially in the same shape as when you got them back from DCI and gave them to put them in your evidence locker?
Yes, sir.
All right, and so all items that are listed within State's Exhibit 276 came into your custody and then you relinquished them to the evidence locker, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, we'll draw your attention back then to State's 120. And are there more items of evidence that came into your possession?
Yes, sir.
What came into your possession next?
Well, there's a number of items there that looks like went from evidence to myself and Lieutenant Alting, and then to BCI Richfield,
Okay, and what date was that?
9/30,
All right, so
2016.
what happened on September 30th, 2016 with you and Detective Alting?
We had to pick up some evidence from the Cuyahoga County Coroner's Office that was being processed there, and then transport it to BCI.
Okay. And so you collected up items of evidence at the police department? And that's documented within that form, 120?
Correct.
And you went where first? Cuyahoga County? And that form just documents the movement from your custody to someone else's custody, correct?
It does.
Let me do this. So show defense counsel states exhibit 274. Should you? This is defense counsel 274. You show 275. And first, I'll show you state exhibit 275.
Okay.
Now, what is that sheet there?
These are evidence items that we picked up from Cuyahoga County Coroner's Office, signed over to an Ashland County Coroner's investigator, Beth Jackenheimer, over to myself, and then transported to BCI Richfield.
Okay.
Just for the record, that's a record of those items, not the items
I'm sorry,
themselves.
yes, a record of the transfer of the items.
Thank you.
Yeah, what kind of items are you picking up at the Cuyahoga County Coroner's Office?
Box of clothing. You want me to go through the list?
Please.
Stacy Hicks box of clothing, Elizabeth Griffith box of clothing, bone and toenails of Stacy Hicks, orifice samples from Stacy Hicks, head hair samples from Stacy Hicks, bone and toenail samples from Elizabeth Griffith, pubic hair sample from Elizabeth Griffith, head hair sample from Elizabeth Griffith, orifice samples from Elizabeth Griffith, and 3 orifice slides from BCI.
So the Cuyahoga County Coroner's Office actually takes pieces of bone from these bodies and turns them over to you,
Correct.
along with all of those other items.
Correct.
All right. Now, it's their policy to turn them over to the coroner's office first, correct?
Yes.
And that's why you have the investigator with you,
Correct.
and then she turns them over to you.
Yes.
So she was riding along with you and Detective Alting?
Correct.
So the three of you, as I understand it, went to Cuyahoga County,
Yes.
had items of evidence from Ashland with you, picked this stuff up, these items from the Cuyahoga County Coroner's Office, and then drove to BCI Richfield.
Yes, sir.
Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then, these items that you just listed off, they got turned over by you to who?
I would have placed them to BCI Richfield. I would have given them to BCI Richfield.
Okay. And then does 275 also document whether BCI relinquished those items when they were done?
Yes.
To who?
To myself.
And what did you do with them?
Placed them in, well, some of them went in the evidence room freezer for preservation, and the other ones went in the Sallyport cage evidence room.
Okay, because things like bone and that sort of thing are all biologic,
Correct.
so they should be refrigerated.
Correct.
Now, with respect to the items that you took up then from evidence that didn't come from the coroner's office, you also signed some of those over to BCI as well, correct?
Correct.
State's Exhibit 122. Do you recognize that item?
I do.
Okay, and is that one of the items that you transported from Ashland on September 30th, 2016 to BCI Richfield?
It is.
And the movement of this particular item is documented within State's Exhibit 120?
It is.
I take it this box would have been sealed at the time,
Yes, sir.
and you never opened it?
No, sir.
At least with reference to the outside of the box, does it look about the same other than being open
Correct, sir.
than it did when you transported it?
Yes.
Did you also pick up that item?
From BCI?
Yes.
Yes.
And what did you do with it?
Actually, it looks like Sergeant Alty might have picked that item up, sir.
Okay, so Aldi picked that one up?
Yeah.
And then, are you documented as having any of the other evidence within this form in your custody?
Yeah, there's several items.
There's several items that went up to VC?
Yes.
And then did Detective Alting pick them all up?
It looks like it.
Okay. I guess, Your Honor, for the record, one of them is the DNA standard that states 262, however, there's a stipulation as to chain and disability events,
Very good.
just so the record's clear.
Duly noted.
All right, show defense counsel 274, I'll show you 274. What is that?
It's another Ashland Police Division evidence log.
Okay, and I'll show you what we've marked as 257. Prior testimony that Exhibit 257 is the rape kit collected from Lori's Philic by UH Samaritan. Does that appear to be the case to you?
It does.
And is the movement of this particular item, states 257, documented within the form that is 274?
It is.
And at some point, was State's Exhibit 257 in your custody and control?
It was.
And for what purpose?
It looks like Sergeant Alty and I would have taken it from evidence and transported it to BCI Richfield,
On what day?
9:30.
Okay. So it was part of the movement of evidence from Ashland to BCI Richfield on 9/30?
Yes, sir.
This, at least, and the rape kit would have been sealed, correct?
Correct.
So you never opened it?
No, sir.
Does the box, at least the outer exterior of this, appear to be substantially similar with the exception of the red
Yes, sir.
tape? Show State's Exhibits 277 and 278 for the defense counsel. Show you what we marked as State's Exhibit 277.
Yes, sir.
What is that?
That's a Ohio driver's license of Stacy Hicks.
do you know where that was located?
Yes, in a vehicle, her vehicle.
In her vehicle?
Yeah.
I'll show you State's Exhibit 278.
Yes.
What is that?
That's the evidence log where it was found between the driver's seat and center console of her vehicle.
Okay. And then was it placed in evidence?
It was.
And who placed it in evidence?
I did.
And that form documents the movement of that particular item of evidence into your custody and into the evidence,
It does.
correct? Does the driver's license 277 appear to be in substantially similar condition as to when it was collected?
Yes, sir.
Now, you initiated an interview on station of the defendant, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And when you first made contact with him, what was your observation of this person? What do you look like?
He had a pair of shorts on, I think. I don't remember a shirt.
Okay. Did he have any injury?
He did. He had an injury to his knuckle.
I'll show you what we marked for purposes of identification as State's Exhibit 260.
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize what that's a picture of?
I believe that's a picture of the defendant's hands.
And we previously published this picture to the jury. Is that the same injury you saw on September 13th, 2016?
Yes, sir.
And during the course of your interview, did he go to explain as to how he received that injury?
He did.
Now, the interview took place in the Ashland Police Department, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And did you cause that interview to be audio recorded?
I did.
And so the defense State's Exhibit 279.
Okay.
Just while I'm at it, State's Exhibit 280. I'll show you what we marked as State's Exhibit 279. Do you recognize that?
That is a disc of the audio interview.
Okay. And have you had an opportunity to review that particular audio prior to court today?
I have.
And how are you sure that that is the audio of your interview?
It's my voice and the defendant's voice.
Okay. And did you, with that particular CD, did you mark it in any particular?
Oh, I signed it. Yes.
Okay. And is it accurate?
Yes, sir.
Now, there are portions that are redacted, is that true?
Yes, sir.
But the portions that remain unredacted and contained within State's Exhibit 279, are they an accurate recording of your interview with the defendant as it occurred on September 13, 2016?
Yes.
Your Honor, may we approach?
You may. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now 5:02 on the courtroom clock. We're in a good place to break before we play an audio. It's going to be some time. So we're going to recess for the day. And ask that you be back here ready to go at 8:45 because we don't have anything scheduled in the courtroom tomorrow. We'll try to get going at 9 o'clock or closer to as we can. With everybody bright and fresh. Listen to what I would anticipate being the 279 audio. Please remember the admonitions. Don't discuss this case with anybody, don't let anybody else discuss what we're talking about in the media reports. Don't form any opinion or conclusion. And anything further from counsel will be recessed for the day.
No, not from the stage.
No, Judge, thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse until tomorrow morning. We're room 8:45. Counsel, there's one small item I want to put on the record. Captain Lenny, you're free to go. See you tomorrow morning. Be here, ready to go at 9 o'clock. That's fine.
I'll give you stuff for
So, counsel, the issue I wanted to discuss with you briefly is the state this afternoon filed a motion for production of documents. It's State Motion 8. Has defense counsel received a copy of that?
Yes.
Okay, we actually touched upon the issue last Friday in our video conference with Dr. Fabian, and I indicated a willingness to require that the production the state was requesting at that time be produced, but I wanted to put it on the record in case the defense wanted to respond to that motion, whether you want to do that in writing or orally or not at all, but I'd like to get it on the record what you want to do in response to that, if anything.
If I could respond in part, actually I discussed it with Dr. Fabian because he's got certain, I guess you'd say, protocol as to who can turn things over.
Mm-hmm.
He said whoever the judge orders him to turn property over to, he can. He said so it can either be turned over to the court or turned over to whoever is designated by the court. He said he had requested to stick some kind of language in the entry that directed right to turn it over to.
Okay. Other than the court specifically directing who it is to be turned over to, you have no objection to the production of the information?
No, sir.
Okay. And while we're on that topic, since we last talked last night about the mindset preliminary analysis, or yesterday, any further update on where they're at with that?
The update is that they're working on it.
They are working on it. When do they have an anticipated completion date?
I don't have any completion.
So they're working on it. It was represented to the court that it would only take a couple of days, so I should maybe see something tomorrow.
I'd love to tell you, Judge, but if I predicted it, I would think I'd be wrong. So it's possible we could hear something more by tomorrow.
Okay. Anybody have any objection to him turning that information over to the court, with the court then providing counsel with copies immediately upon receipt?
Providing.
Counsel with I don't think they've got the information either, so
Whenever these mindset guys get.
No, I'm talking about your request for production of documents from Dr. Fabian and so on. That those.
I want to see what he's relying on his.
I understand that, but do you have any objection to my ordering that he produce it to the court, and then I give copies to both counsel?
As long as I get it.
As long as you get it. Okay.
I'm not particular about where it comes from.
All right. Very good. And anything else we need to discuss from counsel's standpoint? Mr. Tennell?
No, sir.
Mr. Whitney?
Good.
Okay. I'll sign that order tonight. It'll be docketed sometime tomorrow then.
Very well.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Court's in recess. 5:07. Counsel excused.